Some analysts say global tech investment is tilting east, and U.S. visa uncertainty may be part of that story. USCIS says some new H-1B petitions require an additional $100,000 payment under a presidential proclamation. Critics say the added cost could discourage employers from filing new petitions. Meanwhile, India is positioning itself as a major beneficiary as global firms expand there. A coalition of 20 states led by California has sued, arguing the $100,000 fee is unlawful. Even with court fights, critics argue the policy signal alone can shape long-term expansion decisions. Business groups and analysts argue policy uncertainty can affect where companies expand teams and infrastructure. Recent announcements from Microsoft, Amazon, and Google describe multi-year investments in India that add up to tens of billions, according to their statements and major outlets. Microsoft announced a $17.5 billion expansion. Amazon unveiled a $35 billion plan through 2030. Google announced a roughly $15 billion plan tied to an AI hub and a large data center campus in Visakhapatnam, according to Google and Reuters. Reuters reports Tata Electronics is investing about $14 billion and has lined up Intel as a prospective customer for its planned chip facilities. Taken together, these announcements suggest more long-term capital may be steering toward India. Indian officials say they focused on infrastructure and investment incentives to attract global firms. When American policy creates uncertainty, India appears ready to seize opportunity. In the lawsuit, the states argue the fee is unlawful and unconstitutional. California's Attorney General says DHS lacked authority and didn't follow required procedures for a fee of this scale. Universities, hospitals, and tech firms say the fee would devastate their ability to hire talent. From India's perspective, every barrier America erects can push more investment eastward. Pew's analysis of government data shows roughly 7 in 10 H-1B approvals go to India-born workers, and India is one of the world's top producers of science and engineering graduates. If American policy makes hiring there difficult, India can keep that talent home and put them to work building Indian companies. Consider what India stands to gain. Microsoft says the plan includes expanded cloud capacity and a new hyperscale data center site in Hyderabad. Amazon says the investment could support up to 1 million job opportunities and raise India-based exports over time. Tata's Semiconductor partnership positions India to strengthen its chip ecosystem at precisely the moment America worries about supply chains. India is building technological infrastructure while America debates whether to let engineers cross its borders. The political irony is striking. The policy was framed as protecting American jobs by encouraging domestic hiring. Critics say the opposite may be happening. Firms facing hiring barriers in the U.S. may simply scale teams abroad instead. Public layoff trackers report large tech job cuts, even as firms keep pouring money into AI and expanding in India. Conservative commentator James Woods wrote online that the India investment should translate into jobs at home, a sentiment echoed by some critics of the policy. The contradictions extend further. Indian outlets report TMTG director Eric Swider said firms he represents intend to deploy up to 1 lakh crore rupees into Telangana projects, with details still emerging. This is the same administration imposing fees that critics say will restrict Indian workers from coming to the U.S. The contrast between policy rhetoric and where capital actually flows has not gone unnoticed by observers. India's position as a technology destination is strengthening, and American policy uncertainty may be accelerating this. The country is one of the world's top producers of science and engineering graduates. Its English-speaking workforce integrates with global companies. Indian officials say they've worked to streamline investment processes. Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella says India's growth fuels demand for American software and services. But critics note a deeper shift. Engineers who might have moved to Silicon Valley may now build Indian companies instead. Research that might have happened in American labs may happen in Hyderabad and Bangalore. America's policy uncertainty may benefit not just India, but other countries competing for global talent. Observers often point to China's stated efforts to attract top talent, though the scale and impact are debated. Both countries understand that in the 21st century, human capital is a critical resource. Countries that attract talent can thrive. Countries that repel it may struggle. While Washington debates visa fees, Beijing and New Delhi compete to attract skilled workers. While American politicians promise to bring jobs home, critics say those jobs may be created elsewhere, in Mumbai, Shanghai, and Bangalore. Stephen Miller and other administration allies argued that restricting H-1B visas would encourage companies to hire Americans first. The theory: remove foreign competition and employers hire domestically. Critics say evidence suggests the opposite. Companies facing visa restrictions may hire overseas rather than struggle with unfilled positions. If a company needs 1,000 engineers and cannot hire them in America, it has two choices: fall behind competitors or build a team in India. Critics argue visa restrictions don't create American jobs, they may create Indian jobs instead. In the lawsuit, the states argue the fee violates the Administrative Procedure Act and exceeds DHS authority. The U.S. Chamber of Commerce has filed a separate suit. Hearings are expected soon. But corporate planning operates on years, not months. Companies cannot wait for courts to rule. They see policy uncertainty and plan accordingly. Business groups argue the major investments announced for India are responses to a policy direction that has been clear for months, regardless of how legal challenges resolve. Supporters say the fee protects domestic workers. Critics say it risks competitiveness. Who faces impact? American universities that may not afford to hire researchers at $100,000 per visa. American hospitals facing staff shortages in rural areas. American tech firms competing globally for talent. The fee would make hiring international doctors prohibitively expensive for small hospitals, critics argue. It may price out universities seeking world-class researchers. Critics argue it could accelerate the very outcomes it was meant to prevent. The Tata-Intel partnership deserves attention. America has spent years concerned about semiconductor supply chains and Taiwan dependence. The CHIPS Act was meant to bring chip manufacturing home. Yet Reuters reports Tata Electronics is investing about $14 billion and has lined up Intel as a prospective customer for planned chip facilities in India. India is building chip capacity, while critics say America struggles to staff facilities due to workforce challenges that restrictive visa policies may worsen rather than solve. The contrast between approaches is notable. Indian officials say they've focused on infrastructure and investment incentives. Critics say America's policy lurches between contradictory goals, promising worker protection while creating uncertainty that may push investment elsewhere. Some observers argue Eastern governments understand that attracting talent requires welcoming policies, while Western governments may be learning this lesson through experience. America is not alone in competing for skilled workers. Canada offers streamlined immigration for tech professionals. Australia actively recruits engineers. European countries provide fast-track visas for skilled workers. All watch America's policy uncertainty and may position themselves to benefit. The H-1B program, for all its flaws, gave America competitive advantage, bringing bright minds to American companies and universities. Critics argue restricting it does not make America stronger. It may make competitors stronger. India understands this dynamic, observers say. The H-1B controversy reflects a deeper challenge: developing coherent economic policy that serves workers while maintaining competitiveness. Instead of investing in education to produce more American STEM graduates, the focus is on restricting foreign ones. Instead of creating conditions that encourage domestic hiring, critics say policies create uncertainty that may encourage companies to look elsewhere. Supporters say it protects domestic workers. Critics say it risks competitiveness, and the court fights show how contested the policy is. What happens next remains unclear. If the $100,000 fee survives legal challenges, more companies may shift operations overseas. If struck down, the administration may try other approaches. Either way, uncertainty itself can damage competitiveness while benefiting countries that offer stability. India will likely continue receiving major investment announcements. The trajectory concerns critics who believe America may be ceding ground unnecessarily. The major investments flowing toward India tell a story about 21st century economic competition. Countries that welcome talent and capital position themselves to benefit. Countries that create uncertainty may watch opportunities flow elsewhere. India is building infrastructure, data centers, semiconductor facilities, AI research capacity, jobs. Critics say America is building barriers: visa restrictions, fees, policy uncertainty. The contrast may shape where the global economy is heading. Indian outlets reporting on TMTG's announced commitment to Telangana, while the Trump administration restricts Indian workers, captures the tension observers have noted. Policy rhetoric says one thing. Capital flows may say another, and in economics, money often reveals priorities more clearly than speeches. India's rise as a technology destination was likely inevitable. Critics argue American policy may be accelerating it. For India, this represents opportunity. For America, it raises serious questions about competitiveness. For observers, it offers a lesson in how policy choices can shape economic outcomes.